Welcome on back to the Fright Club, your one-stop shop for all things horror. Before I start, I want to thank everyone, all my viewers, because as of right now, let's try it again. Because as of right now, my review of the NECA Ultimate Halloween 2 Myers and Loomis 2-pack is currently sitting at 100 views, which is awesome. So I thank you so much for that. And as always, if you're liking what I do, if you want to help support the channel, hit like, comment, subscribe, hit that little bell and that notification who's you there so you never miss an episode of when I post it. All right. So, today what I'm going to cover is, I'm sure you hit the thumbnail and what have you, is that I just finished watching the 2021 version of Firestarter. I don't want to call it a remake because to me, since it's based on the book, it's more of like a new adaptation. So I'm not trying to call it a remake. Like, I don't consider the It theatrical version a remake of the TV movie. To me, it's just a different interpretation. So I'm trying to, and also to let you guys know, or to inform my audience, I walked into this with as much of an open mind as I could. I've never read the book, and I haven't seen the original movie since I was a child. So I'm walking into this with as much open mind as possible. I will, however, before I start doing a review, or, just a brief review, or what have you, is if you don't want to know anything about this, like if you want to walk in and watch this movie with as much open mind and not be influenced by anything I say or any other content creators or critics review, stop here, go watch it, come on back if you like. No worries. So I just want to let you guys know that. Now, also, I'm not going to compare it to of what I remember from the original movie, except for in a few ways. So just want to let you know, I'm not trying to compare anything. And also, keep in mind, as always, any complaints or grievances I have about this movie, and if I happen to bring up an actor or someone, I'm not knocking their performance. I am not knocking them as people. It's just, what I noticed. So be that as it may, basically the brief story is your main character, Charlie McGee, and her parents are on the run always because they're being hunted by government officials because basically all three of them are mutants, for lack of a better term. And the way they're mutants is they're not, well, Charlie was born this way, but her parents were given a pit-like drug that they were injected with a serum that was done under the pretense of like a blind test study or whatever. So they didn't know they were being. So basically, her dad is a telepath and is able to basically Jedi mind trick people, and her mom is a telekinetic. Whereas Charlie is, as I'm sure you figured out by the title, she's a pyrokinetic and she can control fire. Now she's young. She's, I think, about 10, either 10 or 13 in this movie. They do say it, and I don't remember. And so she's, as every teenager is, she's emotional, and her powers are controlled by emotions. At least the trigger is because, you're young, you're hyper aware. Not aware, but you're hyper tense when you're a kid. At least that's what I remember being 13. I remember everything set me off. So I'm assuming it's no different for young ladies. It's no different. I would assume if it happens to me, it happens to other dudes, it has to happen to ladies. You know what I'm saying? So, makes sense. And so her parents trying to keep them off the radar, they don't use Wi-Fi, stuff like that. They're trying to be as off the grid as possible. Until something happens and the government's after the butts. I will say, what really got me about this, what really got me involved in this movie, like right off the bat, is when Charlie starts freaking out or getting emotional, and her dad and her, like, she starts pointing out things she can see in the area or what she can hear and taste. And the moment she did that, I was like, oh wow, because that's an actual technique that is taught to people like with anxiety and like hypertension and like rage issues like me, or I also have hyper anxiety too, but like people who could be bipolar, like anything like that, you're taught that in therapy or by just your therapist or a psychologist or whatever. Like I was taught it in therapy, in group therapy. And it works. Like it does. It works. Helps bring me out of it. It helps me focus and relax. So the moment they did that, and then a bit later on, you see like the steps on like a not a worksheet, but like, almost like a poster, like handmade poster on Charlie's bedroom wall. The moment that happened, I clicked into it. And then I started seeing it differently. Like I got more invested in it because as someone who doesn't feel normal, but that way, as someone who feels like an outsider because of what's going on in my head and my reactions to things, I started seeing it from that point of view. And especially when you can see that her parents are scared of her. And I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. And I can't be the only one who feels this, but one of the biggest fears of people who feel like an outsider, who feel like freaks, is that not only do the people you love feel the same, but they're scared of you. That's terrifying. That is a terrifying notion. So I was there. I was emotionally invested. And the little girl who plays Charlie she's awesome. Like she's spot on. This is going to sound weird, but do I think maybe 13 is a little too old? Kind of, only because in the original theatrical version, she was played by Drew Barrymore, so you have a different bit of a, not vibe, but there's a different, more of emotional content for it, because I saw it as a kid and I knew her as a girl from E.T. Now suddenly she can start fires. So I don't know, in me there was a different emotional content. And also a 6-year-old, which she was at the time, with these powers, to me can be more terrifying, but I can see it works just as well here. And everything about this movie for me works, except for the ending, and I'll get that in a bit. But like, I think Zac Efron as her dad, I thought he was really good. Like I was really impressed by him. Like I thought he did a really good job. The lady who played her mom, who I don't know her name, I'm terrible at that, I apologize, but I'm hideous with names. I thought she did well. I thought Gloria Rubin, who plays the head of the shop, which is the basically evil government agency that's trying to bring Charlie in and use her as a weapon, no matter how pretty she tries to make her feel. I thought she was really good and she was evil, but she was subtle. Like there were times where the mask would drop essentially, and you would see that she would react in a way like, ooh. But she worked. Now I love Kurtwood Smith. He's in this. He has a minor role, but I love it. The character of Rainbird, who in the original was played by George C. Scott. The character is supposed to be Native American. So in this movie, they got a Native American to play him, which I thought was really cool. And he does a really good job. Like he's really, like you can see, like almost like he doesn't want to do because he's basically the government hitman. And you can see he doesn't want to do it, but he's still the Terminator, for lack of a better term. Like he's ruthless and he goes. So I thought that was very well done. Granted, part of me does miss George C. Scott, only because what I do remember about the original movie is that he's such a slimy, evil bastard in that movie. Like he almost becomes Snidely Whiplash. So I missed that, but I like this new dude too. So hey, more power to him. So I thought that was well done. As I said before, so everything works tremendous in this movie until the ending. I'm not trying to give away what the ending is. However, this movie is basically like Carrie, where you introduce your hero, your female hero, and you let the audience know that she has some sort of power, and that also that she's bullied. And she's an outsider, and that there are times she wants to use her powers, or will use her powers, but doesn't really know what it is. So you keep that, but you you keep that pressure going. You build, you build, you build, you build, you build, until at the finale, you let the pressure go, and all hell breaks loose. And it's a big catharsis for your audience. The original Carrie nails that. The 20 whatever version with Chloe Grace Moretz, but the girl from Kick-Ass playing Carrie, it doesn't work because it just doesn't have the same oomph. Much like this one. The cinematic Firestarter, the original one. The finale is just balls to the wall, like fireballs and people getting exploded, like Charlie just unleashing hell. This one falls short, and it hurts the movie. Because for me, like, I was with the movie all the way up there until the ending, and I knew I was in trouble when, like, again, it's the only time I ever could compare the two movies. But in the original, her father basically gives her permission to burn it all down. And in this one, it's more, it's different. I'm not trying to get everything, I'm going to say it's different. And I wasn't quite happy with that. And then, because also in this movie, they kind of make Charlie a little OP. Because I believe in the book, I'm not 100% sure, but I do also in the original movie, she's only pyrokinetic, which is bad enough. But in this one, she has basically her pyrokinesis plus her parents' powers as well. Like, she's a combination of all three. And I was just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that was necessary. But I will say, all in all, it's a fun movie. Like, it's a good movie. Like, if you want to go out and see it, I would recommend it. I watch it on the Peacock. So, you know, if you have the Peacock, you can watch it at home. Cool. If you want to go see it in the theaters, go to it. Like, I think it's a good ride. I wouldn't necessarily call it a horror movie, but it's still a good time. I enjoyed it until the ending. But even then, I still enjoyed it, mostly. So, as I said before, watch it. You know, have a good time. Go see it. If you do see it, or if you've seen it, or if you remember the original or whatever, and you want different comments, or you want to comment down below, please do. I'm all about that. I love getting feedback and differing opinions. I love that. So go right ahead. So all in all, I would give this movie about 3 stars. 3 stars feels about right, because it's not out of the park, but it's not horrible. Like, I've seen some critics, you know, as I said before, give this really low scores and say it's terrible. I can't say it's terrible. Could be better, but at the same time, it could be much worse. You know what I'm saying? So a 3 stars sounds good to me. But so that's it. That's my review. These are my thoughts. Before I go, though, just want to say, if you are able to, and you would like to help out the channel, we got a Patreon, patreon.com/FrightClub, or The Fright Club. So patreon.com/The Fright Club. But until next week, until next time, good citizens, catch you all on the flip side.